Welcome to Hartford, Wisconsin, where we're just 48 hours and 38 nautical miles from the world's largest aviation celebration. Hartford, legendary in its own right, it's tail-dragger paradise in the middle of the Wisconsin corn and home to the torchbearers that keep the iconic Piper Cubs community together and in the sky. Seemingly immune to the sands of time, this airport and its squadron of J3 Cubs stand testament to aviation history and all those that have dared to dream and cast their gaze skyward. Let's take a look at the airfield. Hartford Municipal Airport, that's Hotel X-Ray Foxtrot, sits at 1,070 feet above sea level and is home to 2 runways. Our race course on runway 1836 is 2,231 feet of turf in excellent condition. It's the perfect place for National Stoll to come and play. But don't let that welcoming grass fool you. With more rookies attending this competition than any other event in the circuit, Sodbusters has a history of nose-overs and heartbreak. Some absolute legends of bush flying and Stoll aviation flying into Hartford today, and with that, some heated competition. In the touring class, reigning champion Brandon Korn continues to fight off the advance from John McCardle in the season standings. In backcountry, it's Jeff Pohl's return to the circuit in Dirty Bird versus Jerry Clemens' reversible pitch propeller and Scott Sweet's Scout. Adventure classes Brian Steck and Colin Kneva will be using their legend aircraft MOACs to halt the relentless gallop of Jeff Daly's Badlands Traveler Warhorse. Sport class is thick with competitors this weekend. Pat McIntyre and Joel Milloway's Rans S7s aim to survive the horde of Kit Foxes and Carbon Cubs looking to knock them off the podium. And lastly, the Unlimited class. Steve Henry and Yeehaw 8 continue their return to National Stoll to fight back the frigid assault from the north by Canadians Dan Reynolds and Jason Boussat. It's time for engine start here in Hartford, Wisconsin. The line is painted, the pattern is clear, we're cleared for takeoff, and it's time for National Stoll's Sodbusters 2024.
And we are back in the booth here at Sodbusters 2024, ready for the Unlimited class. Big thanks to Russ Keith from Airplanes and Coffee for joining me for the sport class. And guess who's back with me? It's Corey Robin. From Lacombe, Canada, race number 12, 2022 Rans S20, it's Jason Boussat.
Jason Boussat's aircraft is lovingly nicknamed Full Send because that's all he knows how to do. From Canada, Jason Boussat.
In race 44, from Nampa, Idaho, a 2022 Just Aircraft Wild West Aircraft Highlander XL. It's the legend Steve Henry.
He's known as the godfather of winning Stoll competitions, everything from Stoll to Stoll Drag. He's been up to Valdez, Alaska. He is probably the most fierce competitor on the circuit, and he's got something to prove here today. In the yellow, race number 44, the venerable Steve Henry.
And continuing the assault from the north, the frigid Canadian advance from Dawson, Canada, in a 1983 Chinook Valdez Special, race number 9. It's Dan Reynolds.
Just about as unique as in character as his aircraft. He is no stranger to bush flying. You can find him all the way up north in the Yukon tearing it up. Dan Reynolds in the Chinook. And we're about to work it out right now. The energy is building, and I'm really excited. Lexi Duncan, our chief line official, has brought Jason Boussat to the line. Let's listen to Full Send.
And he's
off. That was absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to see what the number is. From my vantage point, maybe 50, 60 feet.
Yeah, I mean, short.
Very, very short.
Very short.
And I might be overestimating because I can't tell.
We'll see that number come in just a second. this airplane, Yeehaw, I think maybe Yeehaw 7 is or 6 was the one I saw take off in 6 feet.
Wow.
Oh, what just happened? That was a lot of throttle. That was a lot of power. And Steve Henry is making his way around the pattern.
32 feet for Steve Henry, putting the pressure on this man, Dan Reynolds in the Chinook. We're going from 300 and probably close to 400 horsepower, being candid with Steve Henry's aircraft. Nice. Look at that. Flying it right off the ground. Now, let's talk about this. A little bit longer takeoff roll for the Chinook, but now we've got to contend with the second half of the technical difficulty. This is where the conditions come into play, giving that man, Dan Reynolds, the competitive advantage on the landings. I'm excited to see what these competitors are able to do.
He's still actually pretty far away. Angela Douglas, one of our hosts at Pinedale, saying, "Wowzers!"
Right?
in the chat.
Absolutely. A little bit of a tailwind now on the landing, looking at the flag. So this is going to really prove to be a challenge for all these guys. Look at this.
Oh, and a scratch for Boussat. You could hear him modulating that power, trying to keep the airplane in the air, but no dice.
Yeah, Jason Boussat had his work cut out for him on there. Now we're going to watch high into to your right, Steve Henry. He's got similar conditions. We're seeing this crosswind turn into a tailwind just in time for Unlimiteds, really increasing the complexity factor. Now, Steve Henry, he likes to come in nice and low. He wants to get settled into that surface wind and get comfortable with it way far out. This is a little bit more risky of an approach because if you run into a little bit of a gust, you might lose that wind.
Holding it off. Good over the line for Steve Henry.
Good landing for Steve.
Tires just absolutely locked up. Those are ATV tires that he's put on. Steve Henry on the board with a combined score of 134 feet. 32-foot takeoff and 102-foot landing. Dan Reynolds. Lawn darting it in. Look at that. Sub
So
75 feet, maybe closer to 50.
That is boding well for Dan Reynolds, and that's exactly what we expected. Really, really short for Dan Reynolds. That will make up some distance. Will it be enough? Oh, the officials were just getting a heartbreaking news that Dan Reynolds actually came out with they're calling a scratch on that one. So Steve Henry in the lead.
The only one on the board now, Steve Henry. I would love to see the replay of that for Dan Reynolds. That was it just occurred to me that it had to be good. Here we go. Jason Boussat throttling up.
Wow.
Somewhere around 101 on the takeoff.
I think Jason got a little bit ahead of himself on that one. You're noticing that he pulled almost immediately. I think that he cost himself probably close to 50 feet on that early pull there. He's going to have to get a hold of his nerves if he's going to be competitive in the unlimited class.
Steve Henry. Whoa, more gusto that time for Steve Henry.
Goosebumps on my arms from that takeoff. Steve Henry just absolutely builds the most crazy airplanes at Wild West Aircraft. There's a screenshot on the internet, and yep, sure enough, the officials in the booth calling it right. Dan Reynolds did scratch. Nice takeoff for Dan.
Nice and short for Dan. Literally a scratch, like he hit the line exactly.
But that's where these aircraft really compete with each other. Let's see if Jason Boussat can get himself a score on the board with his second attempt here. Pay attention to the horizontal surface on the back of the airplane and also listen to the sound of the engine, and that'll give you a good indication as to how hard he is working in that aircraft to get this thing on the ground short. Looks like he's setting up for a drop-in, maybe a go-around.
Yeah, setting up for a go-around there.
I thought, it sounded like Maybe his engine burbled a little bit. Maybe he felt like he couldn't, come up on the throttle like he could, and that's okay. Yep, and go-arounds are okay, Ryan. What's the rule on the go-arounds?
Well, a go-around doesn't count against you unless it's clear that you are about to scratch.
Right.
And if you're clearly about to scratch, they'll talk to you about it. Here's Steve Henry now.
He's got a good approach here. That beautiful
over the line.
His airplane can take those kind of big drop-ins, dropping it in about 6 feet off the ground. That was nice and short. Coming in close to 100 feet, 106 feet for his landing. Very consistent. His first one coming in at 102 feet.
So the first run for Steve Henry, still the best one. Dan Reynolds now coming in over the farmland.
And he's got a lot to make up here with that 92-foot takeoff roll. He's really going to need to put in an impressive landing here. Sub 50 feet.
Good over the line for Dan Reynolds. He's got to get it stopped.
Boy, you have to imagine the nerves are getting to these competitors. Him and Jason Boussat getting a little wild there on the rollout.
Good over the line for Jason Boussat, getting those tires just absolutely locked up.
Nice job. Jason just wanted to get on the board on that one. I think he was flying that one a little conservatively, which is what you want to do to get on the board. So now he's got a score. He's at least on the podium because you can't podium if you don't get a score. Here's Jason Boussat in full send. Nice. Coming in probably about 85 feet or so, I would say. Winds look like they're very calm right now, which is good for Steve. This will do well for his number. Yep. Unbelievable, the power.
I don't know how to I see this at least once a month into the sky. And then, frankly, the same with Dan Reynolds.
It's absolutely amazing, such different aircraft. And here's Dan powering up in the Chinook, tail high. Well, nice job for Dan. He shaved off a little bit of distance from his second takeoff.
He's got to beat 134 feet.
So he's got to get it stopped in 33 feet.
Right. And I've seen Dan land in less distance than his airplane is long. But yeah, Steve could defend against that.
Okay, here's Jason Boussat pushing a little bit harder than his last one. He's just got to get it over that line. Looks like a good
over
one.
The line. Heavy on the brakes for Jason, just riding it.
Nice job for Jason Boussat. Just really contending with these challenging, swirling winds here in Wisconsin.
Let's go to the replay here, watching him ballooning up, and oh, that is close to the line.
That was. Here's
frame by frame. Race control is going to check it.
Steve Henry now on his final attempt to put down even tighter scores.
Locking him up, digging into the grass.
Yeah, just over 100 feet.
Can he do that? Because if he does that, he will grab first. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for in these winds,
it
though.
All comes down to this. Let's see.
Nice he's got it short, though. It's so short.
Nice job from Dan Reynolds. I don't think that'll get it done, but that was fantastic. What a crazy unlimited class.
And we are back here in Hartford, Wisconsin, Sodbusters 2024. Man, what an amazing unlimited class that was. We got to get right into it. We had amazing takeoffs, amazing landings, and scratches, heartbreaking scratches. Let's talk about it right now. With a combined score of 206 feet in third place, Jason Boussat. With a combined score of 179 feet, Dan Reynolds. You did scratch once. He's like, did I scratch? You did. I'm sorry. The first one. I know. The wind, the line, they give and they take. With a combined score of 134 feet, Steve Henry. Steve, you guys were saying just before we started that it was a little sporty out there today.
Yeah, it was a little sporty. It was, it was on the tail quite a little bit there. With the crosswind coming from that side, I was having a terrible time trying to see the line. I can't believe I won. I felt like, I told Sarah, I says, this wasn't even fun. This was just frustrating. Never know I won. So
there you go.
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised.
Well, you've got a lot of strong competition. Get on up there, Steve. Those platforms are super sticky by now, right, by the way. Let's hear it for our unlimited class here at Sodbusters.
All right, put the trophy straight down.
And it's time to celebrate. Look out, I heard Dan's. Oh, they're not. They're coming over here. Oh, look out. What an amazing day it has been here at Sodbusters 2024. Make sure you check Corey and I out at the Stoll demo up at Oshkosh all week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thank you so much for all the volunteers that have made this possible. Thank you so much for Hartford for hosting us. Thanks to Corey Robin and Russ Keith hopping on the mic with me. We can't wait to see you in Pinedale, Wyoming, August 16th and 17th next month for more Stoll action. I'm Ryan Dombrowski. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much.